Follow the money. Follow the money. With Olga's pack local connections and Cornell's pack's technological wizardry, followed the money and found out who was paying the loggers and security guards. Behind all the ideology of politics, it was all just business. We had to stop the money flowing. Alright, we got the objective. We were cutting down trees because someone was paying them to do it. So I had to stop the money flowing. Finally, we were ready. Punish those guilty of the logging. Yeah. After a few days of stakeouts and preparations, we'd identified our targets and were ready to move. We started with a kidnapping. Oh my. We let him out in the middle of the forest. I took the lead. I let Colonel take the lead. Yeah, he kind of knows what he's doing a little bit better, so it might be best to make him the leader. Colonel yanked off the bag of the man's face. I lifted a flashlight and shined it in his eyes so he couldn't see us. The man reeked of fear and something dark and oily. I slapped him in the back of my hand. Hiya! I got into my role. Wait, I knew him. Who is he? Wait, I knew him. There's going to be a problem because the man behind the local blogging industry was Bartok's father. Were we introduced to his father at one point? I don't think so. And I killed his son. He didn't know that, and the body was never found, but did it matter? The man whimpered and shielded his eyes. It was time to deliver my message. I was blunt. Stay away from the forest. I was blunt, or I'll kill you and feed your carcass to the wolves. He almost shat his pants. I could smell it, but he decided to play the tough guy. Fuck off, bitch! He yelled. I'm gonna make your life a fucking misery. Just you wait. I know the chief of the police. I know MPs. You won't get away with this. Who do you think you are? Oh, I'll show you who I am, I said quietly. I felt Cornel tense by my side, but he said nothing, just watched. I took a deep breath and focused. I changed. Alright. Let's see. Monstrous wolf, smart, fast, heavy, and absolute scary. Looks great on camera. Okay, I don't want this, because subtle about it. It's not subtle. Monstrous wolf, smart, fast, heavy, and absolute scary. I think I'll choose that. I was hissed about the monstrous wolf form. My spine cracked and twisted, my knees and ankles broke, and I fell on the ground. My jaw shattered and rearranged itself. My skin was rippling and sprouting fur. I howled. When I rose, I was more than a wolf, scary and monstrous with strong paws, mighty jaws, and a mane of fur. I bared my teeth. I bared my teeth at him and growled, and then I lunged. He got to his feet and started to run, stumbling in the dark. Prey! Kill! Well, I don't want to kill him. Oh shit, that was the last of my willpower. Fuck. I was after him, enjoying the blood pumping in my veins, the sheer volume of my body, my four paws on the ground. He screamed at the top of his lungs and collapsed. I was on top of him, my fangs inches from his throat. He cried out, and then he went limp. I don't want to kill him! Fuck! Damn it! Oh, I'm so sorry, dude. Fuck. My killer instincts kicked in, and I changed. Pain hits me like a wrecking ball. Every bone in my body breaks and moves, and resets. I roar in agony. Panting and growling, I rise and rise. I feel rage washing over me like a wave of heat. I expand in every direction. I yell at the top of my lungs. Carl screams something, but I can't hear him with the blood pumping in my ears. I hit the man. I am the rage of the forest. The man reeks the worm, and I hit him with all the forest fury. And again and again. Until he stops. Then I'm done. Fuck, I didn't want to kill him. But Pushko's happy with that. She's like, hell yeah, you killed the guy. Good job, man. Good job. Fuck the humans. My body resets itself to the familiar shape. Bones broke and fused again. Muscles and sinews moved under my skin. I cried and thrashed. Then I was human again. Keen eyes, nimble fingers, and a silver tongue. A wolf in sheep's clothing. Then he was only a maimed, broken, bloody sack of bones. Without him, the local logging business would come grinding to a halt. For a while, at least. I never looked back. That went quick. I left him in the middle of the forest and never looked back. Damn, I am so sorry. I killed your son and I killed you. I am so... Well, for you, maybe not so much, but your son, I am so sorry for killing him. I'm so sorry. I couldn't wait for the Sept meeting that morning. Punishing the local lobbyist was my rite of passage, and I knew that I did great. I couldn't believe that I made it so far. We met soon after the sunrise on the same clearing where I woke up for the first time as a Garo. Lisa looked at us all and smiled. Our patrons were looking at her expectantly, so she stepped towards the center of the clearing. I am the third of the Sept, and I'm here to make sure we do things the right way. I held my breath. She turned to me and I held my breath. Maya, come forth. Are you a cub who seeks recognition as an adult? I answered, yes. I am. Are you an applicant to the tribe? Lisa asked again. I confirmed. Oh, it's Lisa talking? Ah, sorry. I am, I answered. Who speaks for the cub? Lisa said in her Sept mates. I do, Colonel stepped forward. I'm blind prophet of the children of Gaia, Philodox of the Winter Weasel Pack. I observed the cub in her mission, and I'm here to tell the story. Blind prophet, really? Would I have to take a new name? Secret names? Cool. I wonder if they all had cool secret names. They probably had. I love the ancient spiritual vibe of it all. Has the cub passed her challenge? I asked Lisa. I held my breath. I know it all happened, but I held my breath nevertheless. She succeeded, was the answer. The challenge was hard and she overcame it. Lisa turned to me. Have you chosen your name? Lisa turned to me. My new secret name. Suddenly I remember my grandfather talking about his old friends. He never used their real names. They were always Thunder or Gray or Needle. I'd always thought it was a gorilla thing, some kind of war names. Now I wasn't so sure anymore. How to capture my whole life, my aspirations, my personality, my heritage in one name. I cleared my throat. Mist, a name with more than one meaning. Skala, which was Polish for rock, pine, a tree in the forest. Enigma, a mystery. Enigma or Mist? That's kind of what I'm going for. Let's go with Mist. Enigma sounds too edgy. Maya Mist Borodich. My new name is Mist, I answered, thinking of Fog and one of the Valkyries from Norse legends. As for the tribe... choosing the tribe was another matter. Let's be a child of Gaia. After getting to know both Olga and Karnal better, I decided to join the children of Gaia. Karnal agreed to mentor me. Only one thing remained to end the ceremony and make me a full-fledged Garu. I had to join a pack. I had already sworn to the Wolf Mother. Winter Weasel was cautious. He did not appreciate that. Let's see. As my fate had been already tied with the Wolf Mother, I chose her as my patron and joined Olga's pack. Wait. So I joined Olga's pack, but... wait. I joined the tribe of Children of Gaia with Karnal, okay. According to ancient rites, Lisa painted the mystical glyph of my tribe on my sternum. It disappeared after a moment, but whenever I closed my eyes, I could feel its warm touch between my breasts. Mist of the Children of Gaia, Philodox of the Morning Wolf Mother Pack, welcome to our Sept, she said solemnly to me. Then she howled. Howls rolled towards the sky. They sang about ancient laws of war, status, and secrecy. I remembered only a few. Combat the worm whenever it dwells, and whenever it breeds. Submit to those of higher station. Respect those beneath you. The veil should not be lifted. I joined the song. Threw my hand back and held in my sept. I was a cub no more. I was ready to tell my own stories and earn my own place in the pack, to howl my own songs. Chapter 6, The Storm. Damn. I thought it was it. Like, the logging was going to be it, but... alright, I guess there's more. It was one of those blistering summer days when the asphalt melts. The grass withers and the air smothers those brave enough to step outside. Despite the heat, it felt like the whole village was at a funeral. It was moving. I stood there, surrounded by people, weeping over their loss. Looking at the rosaries they clenched in their fists, something tightened in my chest. For a brief and chilling moment, I thought I saw Bartek's face among the crowd. But no. I buried him in the burrows myself, and nobody there even knew that he was dead. It was someone else's funeral. Oh. Who then? A local counselor had been found dead in the forest a few days after his son disappeared. Oh. There have been more deaths over the last days, but they slipped under the radar. We'd been careful in covering our tracks, and nobody had connected the dots yet. Did they die because they deserved it, or did they happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time in the company of someone who couldn't hold their temper? Was that justice, or yet another sin demanding to be avenged? I could feel the tension seething around me. This death, this funeral had pushed the community, already weary and frightened by the recent disappearances in the forest, to the edge. The press had swarmed to the funerals like flies. They were reporting on how the illegal lodging was of danger to both the ecosystem and human lives. The police were watching the crowd with disinterest as they leaned lazily against the trees. Suddenly, Pushka, this place had become politically charged and the hottest place to be in Poland. It wasn't only local politicians and activists from both sides who caught wind of the commotion. The Minister of Environment himself had driven to this place to attend the funeral. He was standing next to the priest conducting the ceremony, surrounded by police and what looked like a handful of bodyguards. The coffin went down and the crowd stirred. Everyone started lining up to throw a handful of dust on the coffin or put flowers on the grave. I got swept by the crowd and found myself face to face with Anya. Everyone keeps pretending that he's just missing, but I know that Bartek is dead. She looked at me in the eyes. He was such a cute guy, you know? I froze. Yeah, it must be hard for you too, she patted my arm. Oh, it must be hard for you too, she patted my arm. If you ever wanted to talk, you know where to find me. Turned her down a little bit. I have no idea what you're talking about, I said. Please take care of yourself and don't go chasing ghosts. Anya shook her head. One more thing. I know you think you're helping, but have you ever asked anyone what they need? I looked over her shoulder at the crowd. It's clear that many people there felt they were not helping. On the contrary, and the minister knew how to use that sentiment. I watched in disbelief as the priest handed him the mic. He wasn't someone you'd call a good speaker. He repeated some platitudes, but it was clear he'd only come to show his face and tighten the leash on the local logging companies. The crowd listened, silent. It was our move, I guess. I realized the conflict was only going to escalate. What he didn't know was that the local lodgers weren't being paid anymore, and the locals were on our side. And we were ready to defend ourselves. It was high noon. The sun was at its most merciless, and the world was almost white with heat. The air smelled of herbs, bark, and tree sap. Insects buzzed lazily in the high grass, stunned by the summer sun. We were setting up the protest. Yeah, calm down, Maya, calm down. We're not bloodthirsty. We're trying not to be too bloodthirsty, unless we were forced to. The day was stifling as we set up the protest. The whole clearing was decorated with banners, and we all had our placards. The banner we hung on the National Park headquarters the week before was just a warm-up. Wood is the enemy of the forest was our main slogan, but there were many more. I wanted to protest against greed. Pushka is not a comedy, declared my sign. You couldn't put a price tag on 200-year-old trees, but that wasn't going to stop them trying. There are so many of us. People kept coming to the camp, asking questions, looking for ways to help. Students, activists, even Greenpeace with banners reading "Stop logging and respect EU law." But Pushka was watching us. And she is friendly. Every time a gust of wind was bringing the wet smell of the forest to my nostrils, I felt her strong, steadfast presence. She knew that we were doing everything in our power to save her. I could feel the immense presence of the forest, whose life was a myriad of similar lives interconnected into one superorganism. But then, I looked at us, and them, and smiled bitterly, because I realized that both sides of the conflict saw others as the sickness and themselves as the cure. Pressure was almost palpable. The temperatures were flaring. I looked at my pack. Everyone knows what to do? Oh. Everyone knows what to do? Olga asked, looking at my pack. I'll keep the security guards occupied, nodded Lisa. I'll guard the Pushka's perimeter, growled Daniel. Against the weasels. The weasels were in their position among the protesters as agreed, then left the cops to me. I kept my eyes on them. I'll keep my eyes on the cop, I said, and I'll make sure that the activists are safe. Yeah, that's the plan, Olga nodded with a bitter expression. The cops were gathering. Those were nervous, huddling in groups and shouting at each other, and everyone who was in their way. Something was up. Apparently they were waiting for something. It reached boiling point when the minister arrived for a photo op. Yeah, I have a bad feeling about all this. This is weird. My stomach turned when I saw the black SUVs. I had a bad feeling. I knew he was in for a nasty surprise. The reporters closed in on him, shooting uncomfortable questions about the legality of the logging in his forestry policy. In hindsight, you can argue that what happened next set a chain of events in motion that had life-changing consequences for many. Jeez! Subtle game, subtle with that! It all started earlier, but change didn't happen just like that. But at the moment, I didn't know that. About that moment, I was too overwhelmed to even think about the consequences. There were too many people around me, too many unknowns, too much at stake. The members of my sept had already moved to their positions, and I also had my part to play. The minister was bad news. When some of the scene, everything will get harder, I sighed, pointing at the minister. Olga nodded. We went back to her group. Activists, humans, and werewolves alike listened as we told them what had happened. The atmosphere was tense. We started our preparations. Getting the move on, baby. Getting the move on, especially for the worst case scenario. Okay, let's move, I heard someone shout. Move it, people, move it! You know what to do! And they did. There was a lot of laughter and friendly pushing, chains clinking, and some people darted up the trees to scat themselves on the branches. I was assigned to the human chain. I don't have that much willpower. Fuck. I helped to form the human chain. Hey! I heard. Get those arms behind you. That's it, attaboy. It hurts, moaned a man's voice. Next time do some yoga beforehand, huh? That's it, people. Open your hearts so you can hold your wrists behind your backs. So I left my wrists. I threw my arms through the arms of the people to my left and right, and then grabbed my wrist behind my back. It was tight on my shoulders, hot and very sweaty. Then we waited. We sat down, one long human chain, and watched the loggers and police as they approached, and then stopped. The sun shone and it was calm, almost serene. The talk started there, and then I could see that the minister was an apt politician, and that he could smell a deal for himself in it all. But I didn't really care. We'd gotten what we wanted. We started to talk. When the talk started, we weren't alone. After we stopped the local lobbyists, we noticed locals coming to our camp to ask questions. At first we were weary of them, but soon we realized that they were genuinely interested in learning what new ways they could coexist with their forest. So we started talking, and became big. I don't know what tipped the scales in the end. The press, the international intention, the local interests coming together, our passion. Finally, an agreement was in our reach, but the talks weren't easy. They never are. The state forest and the woodworkers, the local population, ecologists, scientists, activists, everyone wanted something. I was by no means an expert, but I wanted to play my part in the proceeding. I made sure the talks were fair. So I decided to observe the talks and make sure everything was okay. Both sides could use some unbiased with an analytic approach. Talks went on and on. Of course, I had my opinions. And their point of view, and I had mine. In the middle of it all was, of course, the spruce bark beetle. How could something so small and cause so much gigantic uproar? The beetle had always been a part of the forest ecosystem, pointed out one of the ecologists, but the recent droughts made the spruce more susceptible than ever the forest encountered. We had to cut down the trees to stop a total disaster. There's no problem with this approach. Yeah, they're cutting down the wrong trees. I'm pretty sure that was it. They're cutting down trees that had already been dead. To stop the spread, they'd have to target trees that are freshly infected. Their approach was just ineffective. You fetishize the forest, scoffed one of the officials. People cultivated it for hundreds of years, and it cannot survive without our help. That's right. You want to take our forest from us? A group of locals attacked the activists. You're not from here, and you'll tell us how to... You're not from here, and you tell us how to live our lives? It's not just the forest. Yet they imbalance the ecosystem. Jesus. Sure, they unbalance the ecosystem. The problem is that human intervention unbalanced the ecosystem, and if they pushed it any further, they'd lose all that made that push go unique. Opinions clashed, tempers flared, but eventually new constructive ideas started to emerge. At least one of them caught my attention. Winning the local populace was essential. International observers could help. The whole area should be a national park. Isn't it already a national park, though? Well, I guess it's a state park, but yeah. If it's a national park, though, it could be left alone. But then people will still come to it, though. But they won't be allowed to do anything. There's a recurring idea to make all forests in the area part of the Balawiza National Park. The logging would be impossible. There would be much more money from tourism. It was a long and hot day. I rubbed my eyes. I was so tired I could barely keep them open. My head was spinning. Yeah, I could suffer some health. Ugh. I kept going. What was that little heat stroke when so much at stake? And they keep talking. Of course, they had to make it dramatic. There were cameras, there were lights, the negotiations lasted all day long. We reached the first draft of our agreement literally at sunset. I had no doubts they'd only decided to stop the logging because they realized there was something in it for them. Whew! About goddamn time! But at the moment, I just looked at the sky and laughed. I felt overwhelming relief. Then my exhaustion caught up with me. I found a quiet spot, sank to the ground, and fell asleep. Epilogue, quiet before the storm. Wait, quiet before the storm? Cheering the crowd woke me up. It was a victory after all. Let's go to the logging. The logging stopped, healthy. We'd won. The pushka was safe, at least for the time being. People were excited, antsy, full of emotions. If the loggers hadn't left, they probably would have charged at them. So I'm disappointed. I'm glad we avoided open conflict. Yeah, I'm glad we avoided conflict. There's no need for it, honestly. Avoided a battle which I consider my greatest victory. Still, we all need to blow off steam, so we partied. Soon we were all dancing, talking, singing, and in some cases making out in the shadows. I had to stop someone from making a fire. I mean, for fuck's sake, we're in the middle of the forest during a drought. My friends didn't join in the festivities. They just sat on the logs looking at the humans with weary eyes. I found my pack. We sat in the shadows, far from the humans. Look at them, murmured Olga. Loud, messy, stupid. Tomorrow this place will look worse if we let them do the logging. I smiled. Look on the bright side. The trees are still standing, I smiled. And we'll pick up the trash tomorrow. I'm not here to pick up their trash, growled Olga. There was a warmer glint in her eyes as she looked at the trees we saved. Olga looked at them for some time. Well, maybe in time they'll turn this energy into something more useful. We'll have to wait and see. I smiled, satisfied. Time would tell who was right. We gathered in the clearing in which I'd first woken up as a Garu. Lisa stood in the middle of the clearing, the wolf and the weasel by her side. Now, she said, looking at Cornel and Olga. You two need to solve this today. Olga nodded. There was sadness in her eyes. You're right, she said to Cornel. I'm sorry. That night, we planned the future. The night was long and full of hope. Olga talked with Cornel and Kim and Pat for a long time, trying to convince them to stay in this place. They weren't fond of the idea. Alright, Kim, Pat, and Cornel are gone! No! That sucks. That sucks. I watched them go. Olga approved of my decision. Lisa and our patrons made sure that we did the right by Goro law and the set matters were resolved. More had happened that summer. It didn't cover everything that had happened that summer, though, so some consequences would have unraveled in time. Despite everything that happened, Anya managed to get out of it all alive. She left a few days later. We liked each other's posts from time to time and talked in the comments occasionally, but the messages became scarcer and scarcer, and one day I noticed she stopped following me on social media. It was all still ahead of me. For now, the first chapter of my new life was coming to an end. I'd come there to meet the forest, and I understood the forest, and achieved my goal, which was full of mystery. I breathed in the smells of the forest. I sat under the oak tree with my back against the trunk. I saw a squirrel running away with an acorn. The forest didn't care, I thought. Not really. It just did what I did best. Grow. That was what the forest really cared about. Your story's almost over. This might be a good time to take a last look at your character sheet. I don't really find this actually that much useful, honestly. Goliath? What the fuck is Goliath? Girl, not yet of any significant rank. Oh, well, fuck you, man. Alright, I got a shit ton of honor, but no fucking glory or wisdom. Go figure. Bartek is still dead. God, I can't believe I fucking killed him. I'm so terrible. Oh well. The clearing was empty and full of sunlight. The harvesters were gone, leaving the scars of their tracks behind. People were cleaning up the campsite, making plans to return the temporary protest site into a permanent tent town. I took a deep breath. The air was sweet and smelled of coming rain. The upturned soil smelled of turf and the sweet aroma of decay. There would be a storm later that day. I could feel it. A faint, sharp layer of electricity surrounded the wetness. I smiled. I liked my new sense of smell. This is not the end, said the ash werewolf. I assume you know that. Of course I knew. It was just a momentary break. The truth is that both sides needed to regroup and reinforce. Yes, I know, I sighed, looking around. I had something else on my mind, though. There's a squirrel somewhere. I could smell it. I wanted to chase it, to run, to feel the thrill of adrenaline rushing through my veins. It mocked me from branches above, squeaking curses in its squirrel tongue. I couldn't see it. But I was Lupus the wolf form. I doubled down in pain, my arms and legs cracked and twisted. My skull fractured and reset itself in a different shape. Fragments of bone crawled onto the skin. My skin was rippling and sprouting fur. I howled in agony. When the pain subsided, I was Lupus, a wolf, seeing the world in smells and sounds. So I ran just for the thrill of it. Alright, you have finished Heart of the Forest. Comes gathered around the fire and to listen to the story of Mia Borodich, known among the Guru as the Mist of the Children of Gaia, Philodox the Morning Wolf Mother Pack. Her judgments were always honorable. Maya managed to negotiate a fragile peace and stop the harvesters, but would it hold? The first protests against the logging of displaced forest took place in 2016. The game was loosely inspired by those events. All characters and events depicted in this game are entirely fictitious. Alright. Well. Oh my god, what the fuck is that? Jesus Christ, that's like the most horrifying thing in this whole entire game. Jesus, that really startled me. Like, what the hell? Alright, well, as tradition goes, this is the credits. And my final thoughts. It was alright. I was even thinking at the beginning of this game, which I think I forgot to mention, like, oh, this is the last game, hopefully it's good, and it, end Halloween time with a good bang, with a big bang, but no, not really. Like, this was okay. It was very interesting, but it was just kind of, a lot was going on, I felt like. A lot, and it was kind of hard to, like, make your decision while also, like, trying to get shit done, and I'm like, oh my god, there's so much going on. Which I think it does add a nice replay value to it, because then you can figure out what the heck is going on through different ways and branches and stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure Bartek, I'm kind of curious how that's all going to go down. Like, if he was alive and we killed his dad, how would he feel about it? Or if we left everybody alive? I don't know. Anyway, it wasn't too bad. I did like the layout of this though, like compared to like most visual novel formats. Like you always saw like a person in the like a picture and stuff like that. Whereas most visual novels, you kind of sometimes see like an empty space when people are just like talking about the background or like mindless dialogue or something like that. And the only time they all pop up is if somebody's talking. But they didn't do that here. They actually like kept like a nice illustration picture on screen at all times. It was really nice, and I really liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. And it's actually what drew me into this game so much was definitely the artwork and the weird fucking shit about this game, especially with its creepy ass face that's like staring into my soul right now, and I feel extremely uncomfortable. Woo! But yeah, scary? No. Hands down, no. It did have supernatural stuff. I mean, werewolves are considered supernatural, but it had its own thing going. And I would like to see another project about them talking more about the wolf thing. Like, the whole entire lore and everything about the wolves. I mean, obviously, we skipped a few branch paths, and they kind of would have talked about more, but I think it would have been nice to have a little bit more, though. You know, just a little bit more. And maybe just make another game talking nothing but that. Like, there's a rife between the packs and the sets and stuff like that, and then you get into like the lore and shit like that. I think that would be pretty cool and beneficial in that way. That's how I feel anyway about it all. But I do like how you can try to join people or get them to join you. It was kind of hard to tell which one was which though sometimes, because some of them were like, oh well, you can join me, or oh, I did not appreciate you saying that, which was kind of, in some cases it was understandable. Others were like, wait, how does that piss you off? I don't understand, but whatever. But yeah, this was like Wolf Forest. That was pretty good. Pretty good. I enjoyed it. Highly entertaining. Paradox Licensing, business developer. Werewolf the Apocalypse. Dun dun dun. All rights reserved. Oh, good for them. Heart of the Force has been made in the wonderful Unity engine. Everything's always done by Unity. That's nothing special these days. Alright, but this has been the Heart of the Forest. I thank you all for joining me. This is very interesting. A lot of dialogue, that's for sure. Ugh, I need to drink like 5 gallons of water after this point. But, anyway, I do thank you all for joining me, as I am Tara the Fox, you're the viewer, and of course, I hope to see you next time.